So if I was to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10 how frugal you are, how would you score yourself? In today's video, I really wanted to explore the world of extreme frugality. So we know that on this channel, we like to talk about things pertaining to saving money, making money, and of course, living frugally. But today, I really wanted to explore ways people are living frugally to the extreme. And I wondered whether you and I could do these things. So let's just get started with the video. But before we do, please make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe, because it really does help the channel. And it does mean that more people can join our fabulous community. So I'm going to go through this in 3 parts. I'm going to talk about housing, I'm going to talk about food, I'm going to talk about extreme frugality when it comes to clothing, and I'm going to talk about extreme frugality when it comes to transportation, because those are the areas that tend to save us the most money. So the first part is talking about housing. The first frugal tip is to rent out as many rooms as possible. And the whole point is that you can just live in one room and try and generate as much income as you can by renting out all the spare rooms in your home. This could also include turning your living room into a bedroom and renting that out. Now, this is a great way, like I said, to generate income, but could you ever imagine yourself living in just one room? Let me know. I personally wouldn't be able to, because I like my living space. So on that note, I already don't think I can live this extreme. The second one is to forgo living in an apartment or a house and just find ways to live outdoors and enjoy nature. So I know that there are a lot of camping sites and you can utilize that, but would you be able to give up housing costs? And obviously doing so is a lot cheaper, because you don't have to pay for the brick and mortar and you don't have to pay for all the amenities associated with your brick and mortar. But would you be able to live in a tent and just live a much cheaper life? Now, moving on to the second bit, we are talking about food. So I mentioned a lot about how you can save a lot of money on your groceries by being better at planning, being better at preparing, and also generally cutting out as much waste as possible. But could you save even more money by eating the same thing every day? And this is actually a really good tip if you actually want to save a lot of money on your groceries, because not only does it reduce the amount of meal planning you have to do because you eat the same thing every day, it's also cheaper in terms of how much you have to spend on your grocery bill, because you are buying practically the same thing. You can bulk buy the same thing. And if you are super efficient and you are super frugal, you can just buy the cheapest items and the things that work out cheapest in bulk. So I'm talking about rice, I'm talking about beans. But would you be okay with not varying your diet for a long time? The other thing you could also do is always purchase your food with a yellow sticker. So if you are not going to focus on just buying dry goods or with a long shelf life, then you might actually start to think about, you could save money by purchasing food that is just about to expire or is just about to reach its best before date, and the supermarkets are willing to give that out at a discount. And so that way, all you can do is end up buying food at a highly discounted rate, saving you a significant amount of money. The next thing you could also do is try and find food for free. Now, luckily we're in an age of technology where you can actually download several apps which will show you where you can collect food for free, and so you can find areas that you can go and collect food for free. Alternatively, you could try the option of dumpster diving and seeing whether or not you can collect food that is being wasted away and basically live off that, and that way you don't have to pay anything, but you can actually find food. This is just another way that you can actually get food for free and reduce your grocery bill. Now, moving on to your clothing options. A lot of us tend to accumulate a lot of clothes, and I am conscious of the fact that I am really trying to move towards quality clothing rather than quantity of clothing in the fast, cheap fashion industry that is so readily available to us. So one thing you can actually do is opt to just buy secondhand clothing, and that is it. Never purchasing anything full price, but purchasing secondhand clothing, which always comes heavily discounted, and you can pick up a variety of designer clothes, normal clothes at a discounted price. And then to add on to that, you could also match that by building yourself a capsule wardrobe and making sure there is only a significant amount of clothing that you allow into your household or you allow into your wardrobe. So I'm talking about only having 10 items of clothing that is extra minimalist. So however way you want to design that, 2 trousers, 2 dresses, 2 skirts, 2 shirts, and 2 socks, I don't know. The whole idea is just having a small set of clothes that you just rotate throughout the weeks, and that way you don't have to have too much. Now, it can be said that if you do have a capsule wardrobe, then that means you will have to wash your clothes regularly. But because we are extreme frugal people, you will consider how you can freshen up your clothes without necessarily having to wash them every single time. So you can think about how you personally define your standard for clean clothing. And so that way you can actually reduce your laundry costs and any costs associated with washing your clothes. Now, finally, we are going to talk about extreme frugality in the transportation area. So the first thing you can do is just to get rid of any cars or motorbikes that you have in your house, because we know that having a car comes with the expenses of maintaining it and making sure it's roadworthy, making sure everything works perfectly, and that in itself can rack up few costs, especially if you're driving the car often. Now, what you can do is get rid of a car and you don't have to have that cost anymore, saving you the amount you would be spending. Then you can shift to getting a bicycle and commuting everywhere by bike. Now, bikes require less of a down payment to purchase. In fact, you can actually purchase secondhand bikes repaired to a good standard. And then you can use your bike to commute everywhere. So not only is it cheaper than having a car, it is also much more effective because you are also exercising. And of course, you are doing your bit for the environment. And then another thing you can do is minimize your use of public transportation. There are some instances where you might need to use public transportation. For example, if you are going to do your food shop or wherever it is that you need to go, or for example, if you are going somewhere and it's too far for you to cycle, then you might use transportation, but that is limited to a very few instances. Okay, so those are some of the extreme frugal tips that I have for you that you could use to save money. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how frugal do you think you are, with 10 being this extreme and 1 being not frugal at all? Let me know in the comments below. I personally don't think I could do a majority of these things. I probably need to think about how I can incorporate some of these, like for example, making more of an effort to try and find free food where possible, or reduce the amount of food wastage, because I know there are apps that help you do that. I can also think about how I can use my bike more often. That is a good one for me as well, but I don't think I can totally get rid of my car. Maybe that's something I need to work on. Anyway, please make sure to check out this video, which will show you all the frugal living tips that I am using in my life that are making a huge difference in my bank account and in my life. And please make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. And until the next video, thank you so much for all your support. Take care. Bye.